Hey everybody, it's Alera. Welcome back to my channel. This is Flosstube 47. And it is February the 19th. I don't know what day it is. I do kind of know what day it is because I'm leaving in 2 days. I'm a little frazzled, sort of. Nothing unusual, to be honest. I did not get enough sleep last night. I am still desperately trying to adjust my sleep schedule so that I can leave really early on Friday morning. Welcome to my channel. For those of you who follow me along, you'll know what the heck I'm talking about. For any of you new and just joining, I'm going to Florida for a couple of weeks. I live in Ohio in the US, and I'm driving. I am stitching, I promise. I'm going to get to the stitching. Yeah. First off, in other news, in stitching news, I do want to take a moment to send my condolences to Michelle and Bob Sayetta. She's the owner of Heaven and Earth Designs. It's all over the community, and most of you, I'm sure, have already heard. But for those of you who have not, they did lose their daughter yesterday or the day before, and it's public knowledge that she struggled with drug addiction, and that's what took her in the end. And I can't imagine losing any of my children before I go, and to have it happen so cruelly. Drug addiction touches everyone. It really does. So my heart definitely goes out to that family. So if you I share the news to spread awareness, to show a lot of grace to that business for the foreseeable future, really, because she's going to be going through a new normal. She's got a new reality she's got to deal with. So be patient, and yeah. So moving on to other happier news. I didn't want to end with that, but it's also hard to open it, with it. But so yeah, if you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. There's been a few of you jump aboard. Yeah, and thank you so much for coming back and following along in this journey of mine. So yeah, Friday morning, stupid early. So for those of you who are not familiar with US geography, it is approximately 850 miles or 1,374 kilometers to my destination, depending on the route. It's anywhere from 12.5 hours, 11 hours on a really good day with zero traffic, which never happens. Typically it's about a 12.5 hour drive, but if I hit traffic, it can go up to 15 hours. And I'm doing this in one day. So I want to leave at way before sunrise, so that I can hopefully avoid the major city routes. If I do that, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major cities on the way down. Atlanta being the worst. Georgia's huge. Georgia is like a 5-hour drive north to south. Atlanta's in the dead center, and it can take like 3 hours to get through. It's ridiculous. But if I time it right and the pavement gods are with me, I will hit Atlanta about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. After lunch rush hour, before dinner rush hour. Fingers crossed. I have graduated to a Band-Aid. Finally, a month later. Yeah. It's doing really good. I'm very happy with the healing progress. For those of you that don't know, I had a kitchen implement accident for my husband's birthday. Don't do that. Follow safety protocol in kitchen, kids. But it does still have a little It's very new skin, so it's very sensitive. Too much pressure does hurt still, so camping is going to be a little bit more interesting than I would have liked, but it's got its skin coat now, so I'm okay with that. Let's see here. I have a couple more notes than I did last time. Kiddo gets off the bus in about 45 minutes, so I'm hoping to get this recorded and out of the way before he's done. I had one question that I want to answer, and then I promise we'll get into stitching. Jody, I think it was either Jody or Jane, one of the two, asked me what is my problem with 25? No, I'm just kidding. That is not how they asked. It was very, very polite, like more of a curiosity question about what is it about 25 count fabric that I don't like working with. And there's a couple of different answers on that. The number one reason is coverage. I don't care for the coverage 25 count gives me. Generally speaking, now I have used it. Merry Mushroom Village, the Haid Sal last year, that's on 25 count, and it's okay. It's not my favorite, but it's okay. So 2/1, yes, 2/1 tent stitch would is if I'm going to use 25 count, that's pretty much what it's going to be. The reason I like moan about it so much though is because tent stitch does not work for certain patterns for me. Melaganos being like the reason for it. I tried to start, he was my first full coverage pattern that I attempted, and I'll show you. And I didn't know squat about squat when it comes to full coverage stitching. But see how the stripiness in the background? That does not translate well depending on the angle of the tent stitch. So if it follows the stripes, it's okay. If you go against it, then it stutters. And I had started that in the legs of my stitches, because I started it full cross, and the legs of my stitches were where it would have staccatoed if I tried to follow it. So really that project was probably the reason why I was turned so far off of 25 count. But 2/1 gave great coverage, but was way too bulky, as happens on higher count fabrics. And again, the 1/1 full cross, definitely not enough coverage. To me, 2/1 tent stitch is still, not only has that issue with the stutter steps of a straight line of color, but to me it also is not the greatest coverage. So if I have, that's a piece that I definitely want to have the fullness effect of a full cross rather than a tent stitch. If it was one that I wouldn't have minded the lighter coverage, it would have worked. Like I said, Merry Mushroom Village is on 25 count, and it's okay, but I don't want to put like a favorite full coverage piece on it. So I hope that clarifies that a little bit. I will work with 25 count, but it's not my favorite, and if I have my druthers, I definitely skip over it. Okay, I think with that, I will go ahead and move into the stitching for the week. I did not have any time to do temperature stitching. I did get half of the projects worked on, plus my Valentine's Day start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I worked on 10 projects. No Monopoly this week, as I had said before. That will resume when I come back from my trippy trip. But I will, after I go through the stitching and you see my vlog stuff, I will go ahead and show you what I plan on trying to take. It really depends on how much room I have in the back. They'll all go, because I do have some time that's not going to be spent on the island. But the majority of my time is going to be on that island, so it really depends on how much I can pack in the old backpack. So without further ado, let's get into the stitching for this week. Okay, number one on the list here is Spring Nouveau Fairy. This is artwork by Selena Fennick. Charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is a relatively small piece. I mean, I guess not really. It's 264 by 463, but there's a lot of white space here in some of that width. And I realized when I started poking around in the chart to look at where to start, all of this white is Frantic that I don't have. So I ordered like a spool, their large card off of Frantic, because I can't find any decent place to order it from. I looked at ordering it from Heaven and Earth Designs, but their shipping is ridiculous. For like 3 or 4 spools, it was going to be $8.50. So I said no thank you. And I went and looked at Frantic's website, and it's through their suppliers that they sell it. So it's going to take forever, because it's basically back ordered, but that's on its way. And of course I was like, and the shipping didn't change as it went up. So I went ahead and ordered a few other ones that I needed for some other projects, which then sent me to 123 Stitch to order some other ones that were in stock because they're a little bit cheaper. Oh, whatever. Anyways, I'm going to be stitching this on 28 count even weave. And after looking at the chart and playing around with it a little bit, I decided I was going to go ahead and start in the middle. I also decided I'm basically not gridding this one either, because of that open space, and I know how those lines look even after ironing on fabric, even white fabric. So not my favorite way to stitch, but I think what I will do is I will stitch up and find the top and then work my way back down. So I probably shouldn't have left all that white space in the bottom, but I put it in a 11 by 11 Q snap to try and give myself a little bit to work with. So it's only going to get 200 stitches, so it's probably going to just look like, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. Oh, you can probably hear my little one coughing. He's okay. Again, he's really congested. He feels fine other than that cough, but just got to keep an eye on it. So, all right, I will see you in 200 stitches. Okay, I stitched 250 stitches exactly on this piece. There are 70,439 total on this, so that puts me at 0.35%. Now, I started here in the middle. Here in the middle? One of those two is the middle. And I decided I really did not relish the thought of trying to figure out where to go in the middle. So I am stitching my way up to the top. And this is actually the top of her head here. So that's kind of cool. And then this isn't quite the edge. There's a little less than 10 stitches over is the actual outside edge. I will move over to there and stitch up the next time this comes out. And yeah, and once I hit the top, I'll probably end up stitching like basically the border. And then hopefully by then my Frantic is here too, because yeah. I had mentioned, I don't know, 1 or 2 videos ago that I just used the side clamp for holding all my stuff and it was working fine. I swear, the minute I mentioned that, I started having issues with my Q-snaps staying in the clamp. Somebody else had mentioned that they have issues with it like wobbling, and yeah, totally that's what was happening. I was like, what is happening? Because I've never had any issues before. And then I realized that that I have just recently started using like brand name Q snaps that were gifted to me a while ago. And I realized that I wondered if that had something to do with it. So I swapped out this piece for my old generic off-brand Q snap, and it stopped wobbling. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. But unfortunately, most of those pieces I have managed to break. So I tried a couple of different things, and I found this like non-slip stuff that I had used previously, and that did it. That quit with the wiggling and the wobbling and the popping out. So I was glad I still had that in my possession. So yeah, I will move on to the next piece, and we'll see where we get for the next one. I don't know. I got a really late start today. I was really hoping to do a stitch with me to have for this weekend, but I don't know when I'm going to fit it in, to be honest, because the kiddo is off school tomorrow. I am really trying to get a decent amount of sleep early in, but that did not happen very well last night. I was caught up in a book. One more chapter, another lies I tell myself, but yeah. Anyways, on to the next. Okay, next up is The Swans by Cottage Garden Samplings. This is number 2 in You're in the Woods series. I am doing this on Bestitch Me's Gray Magic. It's her conversion for the Called Fors. And I forgot to look. Starting at 521 stitches complete. And I'm going to be doing anywhere from 20 to 200. Let's face it, it'll probably be 200 or very close to. Planning on finishing the water spots down here, and then I will probably continue outlining these swans, and just kind of see where I get from there. So I will probably also finish off the thread that I start for the water down here. Go ahead and fill in, like there's stuff over here that I can fill in. So finish up that thread and then start outlining again. So yeah, we'll see where it gets to. Also forgot to say that I am stitching this. This is a 28 count Job, I think. Nope, just kidding. Lugana. 28 count Lugana that I'm stitching 2/2 for this project. Okay, it was 200 stitches exactly. So apparently that's what I was supposed to do. I had just enough of the white for these 3 as far as the strand that I was using. And then as you can see, I just kept filling in the outline. So this will get pulled next week. Well, not pulled, but I'll do the second round of stitching on it next week and keep trucking on that outline. So on to the next for now. All right, next up is Spirit of the Phoenix. This is artwork by Dakota Detweiler, charted by Charting Creations. It is 380 by 380, and I am stitching it on this, oh man down, 28 count even weave, 1/1 full cross. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is some blue in here. It is not all 310. Like, I think when I was showing it in the video for like this Monopoly stitching, I was thinking it was all black. I didn't even see the blue at that point. So, so far I have 1,391 stitches out of 144,400 for 0.96%. It is slated to get 220 stitches in. And Suki and I are stitching this. I know she's kind of on a stitching hiatus while her life is in upheavals still. Hopefully she's able to get back to a little bit of crafting here soon. A little bit more stitching anyways. Anywho, I'm feeling I don't even know if I'm going to tuck this in, to be honest. I'm feeling the corner calling me. So that's where I will probably start off, and then we'll go from there. See you in a couple hundred stitches. I got 243 stitches in, so I am now at 1,634 for 1.13% now. I did finish off the very first tiny diagonal. Came back up here and started filling these in and just taking the thread wherever it went. I got over here and was like, oh, okay, that's far enough. You can just hang out there. So yeah, I enjoyed working on this, but I am kind of glad it was a smaller stitch count because it's a lot of confetti. It was very much all over the place. But I got this really beautiful green in here and this bright blue. That was 820, I think. Yeah, 820. I don't know if I can get in. No, it's not going to focus that close. That's okay. Maybe I might be too. There we go. Ah, all right. I didn't realize I had it zoomed in at all. It does not like to focus once it's zoomed. So, but yeah, now you can see those colors a little bit better, I think. So, I mean, you can kind of see the confetti up in here. But yeah, I'll just keep coming up here, and I pick the first upper left-hand corner color of the row and take that thread wherever it takes me, and then go back to the second one. So that's why it takes me so long to do a diagonal, because I'm basically cross-countrying it once I start with that one square, but it works for me. So I don't know if I will do any more stitching tonight. Oh, probably. It's still relatively early. And what is next? I don't know. We'll figure it out, and I'll be back with what's next. Okay, so I'm actually having to do a voiceover for this because this is literally some footage from the Stitch With Me that you already saw. I completely forgot to like record the starting clip. So anyway, this is mini Divine Transformation by Raven Phelan on Heaven and Earth Designs. She's also known as Michelle Lee Phelan. And I'm stitching this 1/1 on 32 count fabric, even weave. And the plan, I mean, I'm going to do a Stitch With Me on it. So it's only meant to get about 200 stitches. So, right? Is that what that was? Yeah, 200 stitches. So I will be back after the Stitch With Me to show you where this is at. Okay, almost forgot to record my end clip for my regular update. I just finished a Stitch With Me for this piece. Oh, can you set down far enough? Whatever. So I got 318 stitches done out of 74,425 for 0.43%. I had a lot of fun stitching on this, to be honest. I didn't really want to stop, but I ended my story. It was more than I needed for Monopoly, but I am definitely looking forward to this coming out again. That door has opened on and off all night long. So next up, I'm not sure what's up next. We'll find out. Okay, next up is Alchemical Angel 2. This is a piece by Jasmine Beckett Griffith that I charted, and it's a test stitch basically because I want to see if I can, if I have any kind of eye for it. I am stitching this on 32 count fabric, even weave, 1/1 full cross, and it looks weird. The lighting in the charting does look this weird. I just don't know if it's all going to end up working in the long run. This is only slated to get 100 stitches, so it's probably not going to look much different. I'm just working on filling in the nose and then doing whatever threads around it. Because this one I do want to have centralized around the face. That's my main testing concern right now. So yeah, we will see where she is at after about 100 stitches. It got weirder. Yeah, I put in 203 because at the end of the first strand I was at 83, and that's where the last strand ended. So yeah, it's going to be a while before she looks like any semblance of what it's supposed to. So man, I don't know. Hopefully it's not a complete loss once I decide, yeah, okay, this looks like the artwork is supposed to, but was not expecting neon yellow. Let me see what this mock-up is looking like. I should have expected the yellow. So, and you can kind of see there's the shadows of her nostrils coming in. I'll show you on the mock-up what we're looking at. So, yeah, there's where that yellow blob was that I just put in. And you can see right here where that's also coming in. So the mock-up, I mean, when you zoom out, I think it looks all right. But man, look at it close up and it's just weird. So, all right, on to the next. All right, now we're getting into some of the fire shenanigans here going on, because this is Butterfly Sampler by Daily Pattern Post on Etsy. And this one's supposed to get 560. So it is going on this ivory 14 count. Using multiple metallics and variegated flosses and yeah. So I am going to be working on the thicker border around the butterfly, and I think I'm going to use 2 different colors in that. So we'll see how far I get into that, if it's just the one color that I'll be putting in, or if it'll be more. So I don't know how big that's going to be, so we will see you in 560 stitches. Probably going to take me, I'm not going to get it all done tonight because it's kind of stupid late in the evening. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, I ended up with 628 stitches total, so I did go over a decent amount from the 560. I had stitched all this in and got here, and that was where the thread ended. That would have gotten me at my 560, but I didn't want to leave that unstitched, so I threw it in. So I am now at a total of 1,055 stitches out of 17,085. I'm probably going to say that wrong because there's actually a charting error that has an extra stitch in there. Sorry for the little guy's coughing. Hold on. Poor little guy. But anyways, that puts me at a total of 6.18%. And I probably should have done these in the green color, but it's fine. It's whatever. This is just me experimenting. So I woke up a little annoyed this morning though, because my throat is starting to get sore. And he says his throat is feeling sore. Now, he doesn't have a fever, so hopefully it's nothing like more than a cold, but man, I don't want to be sick while I'm vacationing. Ugh. Anyways, I think next I'm going to go ahead and start Winter Fairy. That is my new Valentine's Day start with Jen today, so happy Valentine's Day, and I will see you in a sec. Okay, I have Winter Fairy by Dimensions from their gold collection. She's so pretty. Kind of appropriate for February for amethyst as well for a birthstone. This is on... don't remember where it says, but it is 18 count fabric. I'm just going to be using the kit materials. And I did find the margins and marked the middle top because that is where the, I don't know, what do you call it? The cathedral window is. I did manage to get it into Pattern Keeper really, really well too. So I am super happy about that. So yeah, I mean, it's not searchable, but I can at least mark it off. And I haven't been able to figure out any Android programs for marking off a PDF. So I will take the Pattern Keeper upload. So, and I think that's really all I've got to say. I don't know how much I'm going to get done in this tonight. I really ought to try and move on to another, but the little one started running a fever. I have a sore throat. Very unhappy about this. And I'm tired, so I will probably go to bed, hopefully relatively early. I'm really hoping this is not a presage to just being sick all week, because I still have a lot to do. But, all right, well, we'll see what I get done on this tonight, and move on probably in the morning, unless I get like really sick of working on this really quickly. But I'd like to get a few hundred stitches in at the very least, so we'll see where it ends up at. Okay, ta-da! I have 341 new stitches in and backstitching. Because there's so much backstitch in this. I was like, I can see really clearly on the Pattern Keeper pattern that what I got into Pattern Keeper, I can see the backstitch really clearly. So I can actually do the backstitch off of Pattern Keeper, which is kind of freaking cool. Anyways, yeah, when I realized that I would be able to do this first line of backstitch with no problem, I decided that was probably the smart thing to do. So, I don't know if you can see, this is basically all like grays that are in so far. And then this is like a really, probably maybe an 823 equivalent. Maybe as dark as 939. I don't know. I don't know the conversion for this one. So I don't know how I'm going to incorporate this. And I'm actually, yes, I am. I'm going to stick this on my wheel of projects to get into the Monopoly game once something gets finished off of it. So it probably won't come out for quite a while. It was fun to work on. I'm glad I have it in Pattern Keeper, but yeah, it will be relegated with the other new starts into that wheel for incorporation at a later date. So, is there anything else I wanted to say about this? I don't think so. Probably, but I have a massive headache right now. And my throat hurts. So I'm going to go to bed, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning. With an oppositely monikered Honeymoon Sunset. This is artwork by Abraham Hunter. I had to think really hard on that. It is morning. Charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. It's a big one. It is, 869 by 649, so almost supersized. Never mind my PJ pants. I'm feeling lazy. It's Saturday. And I am starting this out at not very far along. 1,706 stitches out of 563,981. I am at 0.30%. Here's my finger. The confetti is very, very real. This is that hellacious tree that everybody gripes about, including me. This one's supposed to get 500 stitches, and I'm working this on 32 count even weave, 1/1 full cross. I don't know how I'm going to tackle this. I don't know if I'm feeling like doing this kind of stitching where it's everywhere, but that would require some parking, and I don't know if I really want to do that either. I will do my usual start in the corner here, and that's what I was doing here. I would kind of the typewriter method, pick a color and work it, and then go back to the corner, but my threads tend to be pretty long, so they go for a while. So hopefully you will be able to see a difference with 500 stitches in there when I'm done. Okay, hopefully you can tell a difference besides the threads that are hanging. So 519 stitches later, and like all day. Man, this thing takes forever for me to stitch. I parked threads based on my attention span for that color. This one I was over with as soon as it got down there. So I have completed 2 diagonals now. Yeah, 2 whole diagonals, 10 by 10. So that's solid and filled in. I had actually stitched this color, but completely skipped those 3 stitches. So, grr. And I don't know if you can even tell, there is more of a smattering of stitches out in Never Never Land, but I am very happy with the detail of this, but whew, not for the faint of heart when it comes to the confetti, that's for sure. There we go. Let's see, there's some brighter colors peeking through, especially that green. It's like, here I am. So I think I don't honestly know what's up next. So we shall find out. I am now at 2,222 stitches complete for a total of 0.39%. So here we go. Okay, next up is the first of 3 Stitchrovia projects. I think I might get to a couple, like maybe 2 of them. I don't know. Yeah, Shoot for the Moon. This is on her Etsy shop, so this is off of a PDF. And this is totally a new start, but I totally forgot to record my little clip before I started stitching. I had swapped out the fabric from Honeymoon Sunset right before dinner, and then I just sat down after dinner and just started stitching. I was like, oh yeah. I am stitching this on a 14 count, I don't know, navy, I guess, Nordic blue maybe. Might be a Nordic blue. I think it's a little lighter than the really dark blue. But I'm stitching at 2/1 full cross, and that's where I'm at so far. But it really was a new start. I literally just put those in. So this one's supposed to get to 580 stitches, and yeah, we'll see what she looks like when I get there. All right, 2 days later, I am at 597 stitches. There are 2 different colors of pink in this, but it's not picking up on the camera very well. They are very, very subtle very subtle difference. So there are 6,146 cross stitches in this piece, and then some back stitching. So I'm at 9.71% already. I'm loving it. It's looking good. I decided not to swap out the fabrics, obviously. Duh, because, it was blue when I started. Anyways. It is the middle of the night. I went to bed at like 8:45. I was really excited because I was tired. I was like, sweet, we're getting on a great schedule for being able to leave early. And then I woke up like 4.5 hours later, wide awake. I'm like, no. So I'm going to cross stitch until I get sleepy again. My little one is 7 today. I can't believe 7 years have gone by already. The kids grow up too fast. So
All right, I think that's another Stitchrovia piece next, so let me get set up. Okay, next project is from this cross stitch for the soul book, Emma Congdon, also known as Stitchrovia on Etsy. I just sneezed. The best view comes after the hardest climb, and it's not very big. It's only 97 by 96, and however many colors. I'm just going to be stitching it on this 14 count white Aida, and it is slated to get 700 stitches, so that'll be a nice chunk, especially on a relatively small pattern. So hopefully I'll get sleepy enough here to go to bed soon, but I will see you in 700 stitches. 736 stitches and no more sleep later, and we have most of this word done. I've got the highlighting started here, the shadowing, I guess, is not highlighting, shadowing. Actually, there should be a little spot right there that is not stitched. I didn't read my photocopy very well, so, and then there's 2 more stitches here of this darker color plus this side, so I'm excited about how many stitches that, or how much progress that many stitches looks like. So I think now it's just a matter of moving on to what I'm going to be taking with me on my I can't really call it a backpacking trip. It's really not truly backpacking. It's almost glamping. Going camping. I'm going camping. So yeah, I'll go over what I'm going to take and we'll go from there. Here is also a look at the board, my board that I wrote out from from the Monopoly stitching. There's a lot. So we got 9 of the main projects done, 9 of the 18. Swans is a repeat, so I'll just stick that on the next week, next time. But again, there's my dates that I stitched in red. Purple is the actual stitches. And then, yeah, it took me 3 days to get 500 and like, what, maybe 4 hours top? No, not even that. A couple hours or so to do the 736. It really just depends on the day. And then the green was what needed to have been done, and then that was my start. So I forgot to add them all up, but it was a decent amount of stitching. So, all right. Okay, so that's it for stitching for this week. Yeah. So if you've got fire for your token, keep on stitching. So let's go ahead, and the only other thing I really have to do is to go through that stitching stuff with you. I did have a teeny tiny little bit of haul, but I want to show you what this coming week, well, like, hey, may look like. None of this is on Pattern Keeper. I swear, choking on nothing is a talent that I have perfected. My eyes are all watering now. Okay. None of these are on Pattern Keeper because I am not hauling that tablet and taking a risk that I like forget it at my friend's house while I'm down there. So everything is either paper or printed. This is I believe it is a Busilicate. Excuse me. Leap of Faith. I got it at like a big box store a few years ago. And I think I have all of the cross stitch done. I think. Not all of them. There's a couple in the words and like one of the little feathers over there, but this is where I'm at with it. This was my first piece of even weave and over 2 project. And when I first started it, it was a little bit overwhelming. I've had a decent amount of practice with backstitching and
it has gotten a lot easier. So I'm really hoping to get kind of a chunk done on this. I won't really have any, like, there's not going to be any particular priority of how much to get done on how many projects. I'm just taking a variety and seeing what I can get done. I do want to try and work on kind of a variety to give you guys something to look at. But, yeah, so that was mostly worked on 2/2. And then, of course, there's like the black work 1/1 stuff. Excuse me. It's like it looks like I twisted my tonsil when I swallowed. It kind of hurts. I am also definitely taking my Galaxy piece. Again, I think this was a Walmart find. This is Leisure Arts, designed by Zephyr Moon. It's not the most detailed picture, but that's okay. This is, and I apologize, my nose is running now. I have a needle in here still. This is on 14 count, I believe. Yes, 14 count Ada. That's where I'm starting on. I did get 2 power packs that I'm going to take, and they're super heavy, so hopefully it's worth it, but I still want to kind of continue the vlog style while I'm away on my trip, so I need to make sure I have plenty of power for my phone. And I do want to, I've had several people say that they would be interested in kind of seeing, you know, a little bit of vlogginess with the trip, so I'm also hoping to show you guys around the island that I've really come to think of as a yearly retreat with one of my girlfriends that camping people. She does also do some, like, her thing is mostly embroidery that she's worked on, but she has done cross stitch and things like that. Anyways, this one would be a new start, and I'm sorry for the crinkles. This is Sandpipers. I got this at Stitch North a couple of years ago. Twin Peak Primitives. This is the only chart I have of them, of theirs. And they're called for is a 14 count blue Ada. And this is something that I have had forever in my stash. And I think this might be a 16 count. It looks kind of like a 16 count. It doesn't really matter. It'll be fine. Sorry, I got distracted. So the model was stitched and finished by Anna Collado, who owns Stitch Toolbox on Etsy. And then I was like, but this is Twin Peak Primitives. She was the model stitcher for it. Very nice lady. I did meet her. I actually sat at the table with her. Stitch North. Anyways, Nerden Conber is who the designer is. And it calls for DMC, but I am going to be using a variety of threads. Like, this one doesn't even have a, I don't know whose thread this is. But I've got a Brendan Nettle color, Live and Die LA color, a sampler threads from the Gentle Art. I have no clue where I got that from. Be Stitch Me Silk. Like, we are talking a variety of things that I just sort of eyeballed when it comes to the cover photo. I don't even know if I have enough to, like, I will still probably have to pull some DMC to take with me for this. And I think I'll take an organizer too. But yeah, so that'll be fun. And I'll just be stitching that 2/1, I think. Yeah, 2/1, because I don't want to run out of any of the specialties. That's just going to get set aside until I can crinkle that back into its bag. This next one is by Tiny Modernist. This was a freebie from Stitching in the Springs the first year I went, and this is her autumn cross stitch pattern. And I'm going to be stitching this on, again, a piece of fabric that was just in my stash. Kind of looks like a fiddler's cloth 14 count Aida. I need to, I do have some specialty flosses. Again, I have no idea. I think these are Live and Die LAs from like a grab bag, like a bits bag kind of thing. And I'll and there's all of 1, 2, 3, 4. There's all 5 colors in here, so I just have to figure out what two these are not and pull that and take it with me. Or just stitch what I have, because I really have very limited time between now and when I leave. Less than 48 hours. And I still have things in the dehydrator going. I still have my laundry to do. I got the midget's laundry in the washer now because he needs some, because he's going to be going to family friend house where his grandma and his aunt are watching him while my husband's working. This next one is from Stitch North a couple of years ago, and this is something that they had in the grab bag. It came with the floss, the Roxyco hand-dyed, over-dyed cotton swagger, and then I grabbed just a piece of 14 count that I had lying around. I figured I could probably get that started and finished while I'm gone. Possibly. We shall see. And then, like, this is a lot of stitching for a week. I mean, I'm going to be doing stuff. I'm not just going to be sitting in my hammock the whole time. This is one that this definitely has to go, because this apparently is the one that I work on while I'm hammocking on the island. This is an MCG Textiles kit from a few 21 years ago that one of my stepkids got for me. And not 21 years ago, but that's when the copyright was. As is normal for MCG Textiles kits, the colors do not match very well. This still looks okay, like, it's alright. This coverage is definitely why I prefer to use 3/1 when it comes to 24 count, 14 count. I don't like how much white is showing on that glove, but since it's a kit, I definitely have to sort of follow that one. I kind of want to get this one done too while I'm gone and get it off my plate. We shall see. I have lofty goals. My friend Ari has been chastising me for my lofty goals lately. I also kind of want to take this Dimensions pattern. This is one I've had for, this one is on the jail piece, is on the jail board from Stitchopoly, Monopoly, simply because of how long I've had it. It is well over, I mean, it's copyright 2000s. It's 25 years old because I'm pretty sure we got this new. And Cozy Porch Welcome. Who's this by? Glenna Kurz is the designer on that one. And I just have a door, part of a door so far. That's it. So no real lofty goals for this one. I would like to put a couple of stitches in it. I will be missing not having a second driver to go down, because that's literally 24 hours of minimum of stitch time that I don't get because I have to drive. And then these last three are pre-printed pieces. These are nice for traveling, even though they're knockoffs, unfortunately. If I ever do need another like pre-printed piece for easy stitching, I will look at Oroloa website. They have licensed printed cross stitches. But Underwater World. And I will definitely take at least one of these pre-printed kits with me. I'm debating on the large one if I want to take it. I took it last year, but... So the top is... Here, let me show you the back. Well, that's even kind of hard to see because this almost looks stitched, but that's just the printing coming through. But the top is stitched. There's a couple of random stitches to use up thread on the bottom, towards the bottom. Apparently I have a needle like mid-stitch. That's fantastic. So this one is definitely going. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. This one is going because this one is just, it was my like outside piece, my travel piece, my I'm not home piece. Southwest Carousel. I know this is appropriately assigned to dimensions. I don't know if you can get it anymore, but that's who first published it. Produced it. And again, let me show you what it looks like on the back first. And then there, it's not a full coverage piece. None of the white is stitched. Got a lot of background to work on still. And so I've just been doing like a couple of threads of background and then going back to the head of the horse and picking a line of color and filling it in and then going back up here. There is back stitching to do. I've done a very minimal amount of back stitching right there in that feather. Again, I stopped in mid-stitch. Which it does tend to happen with these when I take them with me because a lot of times it's like soup's on and you got to get up and go get your dinner or whatever. Or all of a sudden I cannot see or I get pulled away to go answer questions. Most of the time it's at our hammock hangs that I am stitching at. Here's another almost positive it's a knockoff, possibly from John Enright. I got all these long before I knew about copyright issues. I took this with me a couple of years ago when we went to the island, and I actually got a big chunk done. This wasn't all done that week, but quite a lot of like the blues and stuff were filled in. But I mean, like it's huge. I don't know if I really want to take this giant piece with me, even though it was nice to work on. So this one will definitely be dependent on how much room I have and if I just maybe take it for working on at the house in between activities when we're not at the island. Super stoked too because Saturday I mentioned this in my last video, but Saturday Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, and I and my friend, and then Debbie from, she used to be Alan Gator Stitcher here on Flosstube, are going to meet up and have lunch and go to Brick City Stitch something. I never remember the rest of it. It's Brick City something. And they actually just announced too that they have a buyer for the business, so it is not going to close like they were talking about. So that's exciting. Not that I'll get down there any more than like once a year. So that's the plans coming up while I'm gone. I've got tomorrow, the rest of the day, today and tomorrow in between packing and getting ready to leave to keep working on Monopoly stitching. And then I had some Krynic come in let me tell you the story about this Frantic. So I talked about, was it last week? Yes, last week, about how the Spring Nouveau fairy, and I'm assuming all 3 of the other Selenophenic Nouveau fairies, have 032 blending filament from Frantic. And they're a little bit backed up because, you know, the Rainbow Gallery bought Frantic out. So they're navigating the, you know, business transition and things. So they're a little bit behind as far as the Frantic side of it goes. I'm not sure about possibly even Rainbow Gallery, because their PB10 is a little bit hard to find. But somebody had mentioned, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who, in the comments of a couple of videos ago, maybe even last video, who knows at this point, where she actually ordered directly from Frantic. And I was like, I did not know we could do that. So I went to their website, and sure enough, you can order whatever Frantic you need. It is possibly I think they said a 4 to 6 week wait, which frankly is not that bad. It could be 4 to 6 months. I don't know. I don't really care. And I'm like, okay, well, I need I ordered a 50 meter spool. And I'm like, it can't travel alone. It can't. I can't justify the shipping charges with just one thing. So I looked through, and off the top of my head, the only thing that I could think of is like one of my more vintage patterns out of a Stony Creek leaflet, I think. It's Fire Breathing Dragon is the name of it. And it has you can stitch almost all of it in Frantic. Like what is this? Number 8 braid. That was the only one that I could think of that I was like, okay, that's what I'll order something. Well, that's a lot of Frantic, and it is a little less expensive to order it from 123 Stitch. So I was like, okay, let me be brilliant and order what I can off of 123 Stitch, and then any holes that they have, I will order directly from Frantic. So that's what I did. Does this have anything that I need any day soon? No. 500 spools of Frantic later, but isn't that so pretty? It's all number 8, I'm pretty sure. Because I don't think I thought of any other project besides that one that needed it. And I'm like, you know what? Even if I only use a little bit off of these spools, it's fine. I'll have a stash of Frantic. And then I've got the rest of them coming from Frantic someday. That's my haul. I don't want to keep you too terribly long. I know my videos tend to be quite long. I think we're looking at probably an hour still, maybe a little over. So yeah, tune in next week. No, just kidding. I can't think of anything else that I wanted to talk about because I'm crap at note-taking. Haul, plans, stitching. Yeah, no, that's it. All right, well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. If you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you along. If you hated it, don't worry about it. Once again, I feel like I'm forgetting to tell you something, but that is okay. I will see you the next video. Please take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.